Well, how do you do, Buckaroos? Well, we are well into September now, with a lot of places already doing their Oktoberfest celebrations. It's certainly not too early to pop one out. So I have my yearly one. I've been doing it every year since they started doing it. Mother's Oktoberfest. Marzen Lager, 5.5%, 20 IBUs. They tell you best served at 42 degrees, a little colder than most beers want to be served these days. I probably got it right about that actually, because I did have her in the fridge, but I had it set out for just a tad. So anyway, using my Munchen glass, my Munchen mug, I like this mug. Wife found it at a thrift store. I think she paid $1 for it. I don't use it very often, but I figure it ought to, this is the kind of glass you ought to have when you pour an Oktoberfest. Don't pour an Oktoberfest in a tulip, you pansy ass. Be a man, drink it out of a mug. Anyways, I apologize. Sometimes I go on rants. I am unscripted, unabashed, and unapologetic. Yeah, I mean, I never know what I'm going to say next, folks. I don't script anything. I'm just popping a beer and having a conversation. Was the main reason I say I don't do a beer review, because I really don't. I'll tell you a little bit about the beer, but heck, I might start talking about my cat that's sitting over here in 5 seconds. I never know what I'm going to say next. This is a nice version of an Oktoberfest. I'm trying to focus. A nice American craft version. I think it does stay fairly true to the style. At 5.520, it certainly is within style parameters. It does what it's supposed to do. I found it interesting, though. I had a curiosity. I looked up style parameters from the BJCP, which I personally think is overrated. It was intended originally intended for home brewers, but now it somehow has become the Bible for all beer, and I think they're wrong on a lot of stuff. Just my personal opinion. So I looked up the German Institute and where they feel the style belongs as far as ABV and IBU. It's close, but it's slightly different. The BJCP has it slightly different. So anytime I'm drinking a German beer, I don't follow. If I'm trying to see if it's within style guidelines, I look up the German Beer Institute and I just ignore what the BJCP has to offer because I think I don't know. I'm not, I actually think that people take it way too seriously. I try to look anytime I'm looking for a true style. If it's a German beer, I look at the German Beer Institute. If it's an English beer, I try to find some actual history about the beer to find the style parameters and not the BJCP. But that seems to be the guideline for especially younger drinkers these days. So back to Mother's. Mother's is my local brewery here in Springfield, Mo. Aromas on this are gorgeous. A lot of big toasted malt, some earthy hops. It's just nice. Again, in my opinion, it does fit beautifully within the style. Mother's talking. See, I drifted again. See, I try to stay focused, but my mind goes. Mother's is about 5 years old, I believe. Um, Jeff Schrag, the owner out there. He's a great guy. I've met him several occasions. I'm not going to say we're friends. I don't see him that often. He does recognize me when I go in there. And they're always friendly to me. That's what I like about the place. I always recommend folks go out there because they're friendly. I think Kyle is still running the tap room, as far as I know, anyway, and we've met a few times. Kyle is a great guy, and every time I go in there, he kind of tells me what's going on with the beer and if there's anything new coming up that I need to know about. And I think that's what's great about craft breweries as opposed to the big mega breweries or the macros is that you can have these. I mean, Mother's is getting rather large, but they're still kind of a neighborhood brewery. So you can go in there and talk to the staff, whoever happens to be there, and you can kind of get to know folks. And I think that's what you miss when you buy, other than that's what you miss when you buy macro products. You don't get that personal touch. So that's just me. I just like a personal touch. I grew up in the service industry, folks. My dad ran hot trucks when I was a kid, um, so I grew up that way. And then I made my living for a very long time in retail and retail management. So, uh, for me, it's all about customer service. I just can't stand folks that don't do customer service, and it bothers me when folks are just blind loyal for no apparent reason. Then they've seen a commercial. How about we buy quality beer? How about we support local products, local companies, local breweries that are making actual honest to God beer and beer that's not filled with adjuncts? How about that? Wouldn't that be great? Anyway, I stole a macro slogan right there with at the end. Did you notice that one? Anyways, yeah, I don't know that I've ever had a bad experience at Mother's, to be honest with you. And I've been out there several times. I've brought folks out there from out of states. I just think they're doing some great stuff. But one thing I do like is when they do a traditional seasonal like the Marzen Oktoberfest, they try to stay true to style. They do a lot of stuff way the hell out of the box out at that brewery. They certainly do. But when they do a seasonal like this, they stay within the style. They don't take too many liberties. And to me, I love that because I want a beer within a style. I'm kind of one of those style guys. I get no, it doesn't fit within the style, man. I want to. I like tradition, man. I like if you're gonna do something, hey, if it's not traditional, at least say this is what we're doing. We're kind of going, and that's I'm okay with that. But don't tell me you're trying to do something traditional and then not even get close. Uh, I spend a lot of time drinking beer out of a Belgian tulip. And that's not a bad thing because they are great glasses for most beer styles. But when you're drinking a style like this, man, you gotta have a mug. There's something to be said for grabbing a handle, having a stein. I do have several steins actually, but most of them that I don't use. Most of the guys, I've said this on several occasions. Most glasses I have, I do use. But some steins I put away. And I use glasses like this as opposed to some of my other steins so you can see the beer. The problem with the ceramic steins is you can't see the beer. I love the Marzen. Love Oktoberfest season. Oh, excuse me, hope I didn't get on you. I love my mother's. I am sorry I couldn't get out to the mother's Oktoberfest celebration today, but I hope they are doing well. I'm trying to beer whisper, and I hope a lot of success comes to Mother's Brewery because they're doing a lot of great things. I'm trying to beer whisper. I think I said that right. Have I mentioned I'm Tom the Beer Whisperer? Yes, Tom. Repeatedly. Hey, I'm trying to beer whisper. One more time for good measure. I'll talk to you later.